So data driven testing already we have done, but we prepare the test data at class level. Now in this session we are going to go for data driven testing only, but in this session we are going to prepare a test data in Excel sheet, and those test data we are going to retrieve and we are going to pass to the test. So why we require data driven testing? Let's I will explain one scenario. One scenario is you have a like this login page is there. For this login page, you are testing this login page for 100 users, for 100 multiple users. So you are providing the username, you are providing the password, and you are clicking on login button, and you are checking that the user is successfully logged in or not. If this user is successfully logged in, you are going to log out from the application. Just login functionality you are checking. So if you are going to test this test case manually, how many times you should have to execute this test case? 100 times. Okay. And manually, every time you need to interact with the application, pass the username, pass the password, and click on OK button. Okay. So with valid credential or with invalid credential. So if you are going to go for like this, what will happen? Test execution will be reduced. Like to execute this kind of test cases, 100 test cases in a day, how many test engineers will require? Let's suppose you are taking 2 days or 3 days to execute these test cases. Okay. In a day, you are executing like 30 to 35 test cases, and you are going to check that is this test cases is valid or invalid. But same thing we can able to reduce by using automation. Like we are going to prepare the test data. We are going to keep those test data into the external resource like Excel sheet. Okay. While executing the test cases, we will get that data, username field, password field, and whatever data we are getting, that data based on row and based on column, that data we will feed to the application, and we'll check is that application is behaving according to your requirement or not, with valid username and valid password. So same functionality we will cover here. We are going to take one application for login functionality. You can take for other functionality also. For login functionality, we'll take one application, and we'll prepare 5 to 6 stage data. Okay, 5 to 6 stage data as of now. So for those stage data, we'll try to feed that data like from external resource. We'll keep this data, and this data we'll get from the external resource and we'll feed to the application, and we'll check how the application is behaving, using data driven testing, data driven testing. Okay, so let's get started. Am I clear up to that? What is the scenario and what kind of scenario we should have to go for data driven testing? If there is a huge data, okay, if there is a huge data, test data, and that data is what we are going to perform, feeding that same data again and again to the same application, then we will go with data driven testing. Like you are feeding up the data for registration form, you are feeding up the data for login page. Then after that, you are having you are going to generate a order for multiple folks, or you are generating a leads. Leads means what? For like if any user is coming, you are going to feed that data for that user, means just basic information, and you are going to store that data in your database. Okay, that is called lead. So for those kind of things, we will use data driven testing. Let's go ahead and we'll implement same thing. Okay. Let's see what I am going to do. This is our project already created. So I'm not going to implement whole data driven testing framework. Just I will just I have a one package com.data driven. So within this package only we are going to implement these things. Okay. So first of all, what we will do? First of all, we will load the Excel sheet. How to load the Excel sheet? You know that. Yes or no? So within this package you see, so we have a data driven test already created, or else I will create here one more package. Right click, go to new, create package, and the package name I will give data driven test. Data driven testing. Okay, data driven testing. The package name is. within this package, go to new, create a class with the name. Just wait, Eclipse is loading. So meanwhile, I will show you. We are going to test the application, and the application name is what? For OpenHRM. So HRM application we are going to. Okay, this is the application. On this application, we will perform this testing. Open HRM, Orange HRM. Okay, this is a open source application. Okay, so for HR management system, this application is. So let's create a class. This is my XLX XLSX or just Excel data provider. I will say data Excel data provider. So just meaningful name. It's going to provide the data. So that is why the class name is what? Excel data. Excel sheet data provider. Okay. Finish on this. Now this Excel data, like properly I am writing this code. Okay. So that you in framework level also we will write this kind of code only. Properly we will write the code. This is my Excel data provider. So I will create a constructor for this Excel data provider. So why I am going to create a constructor? Actually, we are going to load this Excel sheet. So at runtime, we are going to pass what is the sheet name you are going to interact with. Okay. First of all, we should have to load this file. How to load this? We should have to locate the file location. Actually, where is the file is? Our file is under test data. So within this test data, we have a test data.xls. So within this file, somewhere in some sheet, we will prepare the test data. Okay. So I will say this is my file in current working directory. Dot means what? In current working directory, we have a not driver folder. We have a test data folder. Test data folder. This is the test data folder. Under that, we have test data. File name is what? Excel sheet name is what? Test data dot XSX. XLSX file. This is the file. So this is file object. If you mouse over, this file object is coming from java.io package. So this is my file. Okay. So just I will create object of this file, and then after that, so we are going to perform input and output operation. So for input operation, simply we are going to use one class, and the class name is what? Input stream. Okay, input stream. Input. Just use stream. File input stream. Okay. So file input stream. This is the class, and specify the location of that file. FS. So this is the file. On that, I am going to perform input output operation. And let's create a one reference file input stream object. Okay. Yeah, and this is my file input stream object. Now it will throw you file not found exception. What we will do? So whatever risky code will be there, just right click on that code, and we will surround this code within try and catch. Okay, we are going to surround this code within try and catch. So how to surround within try and catch? Simply here write down try and control paste. So I'm going to use try catch block here. This is my try catch. Whatever risky code will be there, we are going to keep those risky code within which block? Within try block. So whenever the exception will occur, we are going to throw that exception to the catch block. And as of now, I am going to throw that exception to the base class. For every exception, it will throw to the base class. Now, once you get this, next thing is what? We are going to load workbook. Yes or no? How to load the workbook, just use XSF. It will go on like your video is on. Yes, this is Vittal, please. This is workbook, okay, XSF workbook. We are going to load the workbook at this location. Okay, file input stream location. We are going to load the workbook. So simply it will create a which object? Workbook object. Okay, So what I will do, this workbook object we are going to create at class level. Okay, this is my XSF workbook. So the moment this object will be created, this workbook object created, this reference variable will be initialized at class level so that we can able to use throughout the class. Okay, workbook object. Then after that, once we get the workbook, what exactly we are going to get the sheet on that workbook. Workbook dot get sheet. So there are two ways to get sheet, based on index or based on name. So based on name we will get. What we will do, when we create the object of this Excel reader, Excel data provider, we are going to pass the sheet name on which sheet you are going to work. Okay. So you see, you got the workbook, you get the workbook, you get the sheet, and so get sheet will return you sheet object. Get sheet will return you sheet object. Let's mouse over and create local variable, and this sheet object again we are going to initialize at class level. XSF sheet. Okay, now we got the sheet. You see, we got the sheet, and we got the whatever sheet we are going on, whatever sheet you are going to work on, that sheet we get whatever workbook you are going to work, within that you get the sheet. On that sheet, if you want to know that how many number of rows are there, just use sheet dot get last row number. Simply it will return you rows, how many number of rows are there. Okay, total number of rows. Okay, row count. So this row count and all we will check. So first, if you want to know that how many number of rows are there within that sheet, just use sheet dot get row method. So if you want to focus on particular row, or if you want to know how many number of rows, that row and column we will go later on. Okay, whenever we will take one. So this is my constructor. Why do you use this constructor? What is the use of this constructor? The use of the moment this constructor will get executed, our Excel sheet will be loaded. Completely our Excel sheet will be loaded. Okay, so this is my workbook, or this is my Excel data provider. So what is the Excel data provider constructor, which will help us to load the Excel sheet. Now we will prepare the test data. Okay, we will prepare the test data. Whatever test data we are going to prepare within the Excel sheet, we are going to retrieve that test data. So how to get? So whenever exception will get as well, so I am going to prepare, or I am going to display for total print stack trace. Okay. Then after that, this is our try. This is try catch draw. Out of this try catch draw, now public void. Okay. So this is Excel test data. Okay. This is, we are going to create a test data here. Excel test data within this method. Okay. How to create this test data? So once we get the sheet, on that sheet we can able to get last row number. Okay, I will get the last row number. So it will simply gives you row total number of row count. How many number of rows are there? Let me create a variable row count. And if you want to know that how many number of columns are there, simply just use sheet dot get row. We are going to focus any of the row and then get last cell number. So simply it will return you how many number of columns are there. Okay, so this is my columns, cell count or column count. Okay, just mouse over and create local variable. Now within that sheet, if you have a sheet, that sheet will be having only 2D array. Yes or no? This is my sheet. That sheet will be hold number of rows and number of columns. So this is my sheet. Let's suppose within this sheet So these are the my number of rows horizontal, okay, and vertically are number of columns. Now we are going to get the data. So it will be this cell is treated as a 2D array. This cell is also treated as a 2D array. 0th row, 0th column, first column, second column, like that. Now we are going to apply for loop. So for loop for rows, okay, and then for loop for columns, okay. For 0th row, whatever data will be there, we are going to retrieve those data, okay. How to do this? Very simple. Very simple. How to do? Just we got the rows, we know the number of rows. Simply use for loop. For loop, it will start from index 0. Okay, it will start from index 0. Less than or equals to, we will say row count. Less than row count. Okay, row count. Then it will increase I value. Now, once we are going to increase, what I will do is here, I am going to focus on the particular row. Okay, let's suppose you started the row. Okay. Now currently you started row 0th row. Okay, this row you started. Okay, I value. Now currently at what row you are? Currently we are at 0th row. So this is my sheet. Currently we started the row, which is what 0th row. Completely I wanted to focus on this 0th row by using get row method. So simply this get row method will return you row object. Okay, simply this get row method will return you which object? Row object. If you see, mouse over and create local access at row object. Now on that row, I want to retrieve how many number of columns are there. On that row, how many number of columns, like 0, 1, 2, 3, whatever columns are there, we are going to retrieve that columns. How to retrieve? One more for loop. Okay, start from index. One more for loop we will take. Start from the index 0, less than or equals to total number of columns count. How many number of columns we have count? Okay, and we are going to increase j value. You know what will happen for this condition? You see, so when the row is 0, it will enter into the condition completely. It will focus on that row. On that row, we are going to get the column number. On that row, we are going to get the column value. Like, so at 0th row, what is the j value? When j equals to 0, can you please get that value? When j equals to 1, can you please get that value? When j equals to 2, can you please get that value? All the value we are going to retrieve from this column. So to get this on this row, simply, so we are currently focused on which row? We are currently focusing on 0th row. I will get the cell. What is the cell value? Cell value is what? J. J is what? 0th column. 0th row, 0th column. Can you please give me that object? I will use toString method to retrieve. Okay, we are going to use toString object. What this toString object will does? Simply this toString object, you know, at 0th row, j is equals to 0. At 0th column, whatever object you have prepared, whatever cell data you have prepared, it will retrieve. Okay, like it is a numeric data, it will retrieve numeric data. If it is a like string data, it will retrieve string data. toString method will help us to get the actual content of that object. Okay, and what I am going to go, I will retrieve this data into 2D array. Okay, we'll retrieve this data into 2D array, and here in the form of rows. What is the row? So initially we are going to focus on the row I value. Okay, whatever row will be there, row number will be there, and j value. And we will create this 2D array at this location. And this 2D array I will create, which is what? Object type. It may be any type of data. That is why object type. So based on number of rows, how many number of rows we have within the sheet, and how many number of columns we have within the sheet. So this is based on number of rows and columns. We're gonna create a 2D array. Okay, we're gonna create 2D array here at class level, and the object type is what? Object array, and array type is what? Object array. So simply we are gonna create this test data based on row and column. We'll retrieve that test data. Okay, and once all the test data we are going to retrieve. So based on 0th row, 0th column, first column, 0th column, first column, second column, whatever data will be there, then first row, 0th column, first column, second column, then second row, zeroth column, first column, second column, like that. All the data we are going to prepare horizontally, and whatever data we are going to retrieve one by one, we will initialize into this 2D array. We will initialize into this 2D array. Now this 2D array we are going to return. Now we will return this 2D array. Whenever we will call this data, simply it will retrieve that data, and finally we are going to return this 2D array, this data. This data we are going to return. What should be the return type of this method? The return type of this method should be object type. Am I clear? The return type of the method should be object type. This is what. Now you see. So let's go with Excel sheet. Let me open the Excel sheet at that location, and we'll prepare that data. So this is my Excel sheet. Let me open. I will right click, go to properties, and just I will click on here, this arrow, double click on this arrow. Simply it will open the location of the file where exactly this stage data is there. So let's see it will open or not, or I will copy this. Up to that, any doubt how I did created this 2D array? So this 2D array I have created for Excel sheet. So this is the test data. Just I will open this file. This is the test data. We'll open this file, testdata.xls. For username, we are going to create this test data. So now this is what, like, my Excel sheet. What I will do. So at sheet number 1, we have this test data. At sheet number 2, we have this test data. At sheet number 3, we will prepare. So username, and second field or second row is column is what? I will say password. Okay, username and password field. For that application, username is what? Valid username is what? Admin. And valid password is what? Admin123. Okay. So this is first set of data. Then second set of data, instead of, I will say admin. So but this time for this admin, A is small. Okay. A is small, and password I will keep same. Okay. So username I will say admin, valid username, but password we will say admin12345, invalid password, like that. First set of data is what? Valid. Second set of data is invalid. Third set of data is what? Invalid. Fourth set of data is what? We'll keep both admin and both username and password invalid. So these are the, how many number of rows are there? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Means 5 number of rows. Total number of row count is what? 5. And total number of cell count is what? 2. Total number of cell is 2. Okay. And total number of row is what? 5. So the number of rows are there, that number of times your test case will get executed. Okay. In simple thing. And this is my sheet 3. This is my sheet 3. Within this sheet 3, we prepare this test data. Now simply, this is sheet 3. We'll copy this name. This name we will require. Now, we don't want to get the data, which is what? This. At row 0, we don't want to retrieve the data. Okay. At 0th index. We want to start our index at this location. Okay. To start our index at second location, simply start your loop from the index I. Row we are going to start at I equals to 1. And number of rows, it will always return you -1. Like total number of rows is, let's suppose within the Excel sheet, if total number of rows is equals to 5, get last row number will return you 4 total number of row. Okay. So simply what we will do, we are going to start our loop less than or equals to that columns. Okay. So it will start from index 0. So I will say less than or equals to row com I plus plus. So I equals to, what is the I value? 1. It will focus on that 1. Okay. So I equals to 1. And it's going to, like, when index j equals to 0, when index j equals to 0 and I equals to 1, I means row equals to 1. So it will retrieve that data. at index 1 0, whatever data, row equals to 1, column is equals to 0, whatever data it will be there within the Excel sheet, it will retrieve and it will store into the Excel sheet, like 2D array. Okay, so like that we are going to retrieve the data from the 2D array. Now, so this loop is ready. Now we will go and we'll create a one class. So for data provider, simply create a class, and I will say data driven test. So this is my data driven test. Within this data driven test, let's create a public void get data. So public void get data. So simply this get data will get the data. So by using data provider, we will get the data. So what is the data provider name? So if you want to keep the name of this data provider, you can keep, or else you can use this data. So how to retrieve the data? To retrieve the data. So how many number of columns are there? 2 number of columns. Simply use string. First is what? Username column, and string. Second is what? Password column. Only 2 columns are there. The number of columns will be there. The number of columns will be there. That number of arguments we should have to prepare at data provider. Okay. This username and password we are going to prepare the number of columns. Now next is what? So sorry guys, here not we no need to provide here. So it will retrieve that data. Okay. So the number of columns. Now public void. This is my login test by using data driven testing. This is login test. I will take at the rate test class, Control Shift O. So import this ORG annotations and data provider whose name is equals to test data, like get data. So this is the method which providing the data. How many number of rows it's retrieving you? String, username, and it's retrieving you string, password. 2 parameters it's retrieving. Now, so create object here. Create object. The moment you will start this method, first it will go to the data provider. First it will, like the moment you start this test case, first it will go to the data provider. But before going to data provider, so so the data provider we have prepared within this Excel data provider. The moment we create this object, let me create this object, new Excel data provider, pass the sheet name to load this sheet. We are going to load which sheet? We are going to load the sheet number 3. We are going to pass. The moment you create this object, Excel data provider, this constructor will get executed, and this constructor will load your Excel sheet. Simply this constructor will load your Excel sheet. Once your Excel sheet will get loaded, so on this, like I will say Excel data, this is my Excel data provider object. On that object, let's create a local variable. On that object, just call that method. Okay, get Excel data. Copy dot get. So Excel data provider, what is the method name? The method name is what? Excel test data. Excel test data. The method name is what? Excel test data. Just use this Excel test data. So is there any argument we are passing to this Excel test data? Nothing. Simply, but this Excel test data is retrieving you object array. Simply return whatever object array it has returned in the form of data. Okay. So use that return type. Okay. What is this method is returning? Excel data. If you go here, it return you object array. It's return you which object array. So simply here within this method, when you call this Excel data method, it's return you object array. So let me create local variable. This is my object array data, and simply what I will do, whatever data we have prepared, so we are going to provide this data to the test data to the whenever we are going to call this test method. So it will say this test method having a one data provider whose name is what get data. It will goes to this get data method. So whatever data we have prepared this within this Excel test data, this 2D array, it will retrieve that test data within this method and it will store into here. And that test data we are one by one it will feed to the get data method. So how many number of columns are there? That number of columns it will pass username and password. Okay, username and password. This is my Excel data provider I have prepared. Excel data provider we have prepared here. And second thing is what? Now this is the application. We will start the application. This test will start. Now whenever this test will start, first of all we should have to launch the browser. Then we should have to, once we launch the browser, we should have to navigate the application, and then after that we will perform the login. Let it be that login steps we will prepare only within this test case. So at framework level we will implement properly, but here in this let me set up the system variable path by using system.setProperty method. Simply we are going to set the system variable path for which browser? WebDriver.chrome.for driver Chrome. So where is the Chrome driver? The Chrome driver is available in current working directory. We have a driver folder. Under that we have a Chrome driver.exe. So within this folder we have a Chrome driver. Let it be, we will check once again. So you see within this folder we have a driver folder. Under that we have a Chrome driver.exe. So this Chrome driver.exe we have set up the system variable path for that Chrome driver.exe here. Now once we set the system variable path, we will launch the browser. So new, just use new Chrome driver, create instance of Chrome driver. The moment you create instance of Chrome driver, it will launch the browser. So I will create driver instance here and will store WebDriver driver. Okay, and import this WebDriver also. We are gonna import this WebDriver. Now once you imported this WebDriver, next step is what? We will navigate to the application under test. So before that, so driver dot, I will say we are going to manage driver dot manage dot. I'm going to implicitly wait timeout dot. Implicitly we will wait for 10 seconds. These steps you can write within before method and after method also. If you want to write, let it be. I will cover this like in before and after method. So just use write public void. So I will write setup method. So it will help us to set up the browser property. So at the rate I will say before. I will say before test. So the before test will get executed, like before and after method will be executed for every test, and before test will be executed only once. Okay. So timeout. So time unit we are going to take in implicitly with time unit in the form of second. Okay. So this is page load timeout, and then after that driver dot get. By using get method we will navigate to the application and the test. What is the application and the test? If you go here, this is the application and the test. Copy the URL and here just paste it. Okay, it will navigate to this application. So before going to start this test method, it will execute before test method. Then after that this test will get started for row number 0. Okay, whatever row it will start, for that row it will start that test method. Now then this test method will having a one data provider whose name is get data. It will come here. It will call that Excel data provider. The moment you create this constructor, that Excel data provider constructor will get executed. Then on that constructor instance, we are going to call Excel test data method, which will retrieving you 2D array, and one by one it will feed the data to this login test. Okay. So orange HRM login test. I will say orange HRM login test. This is our orange HRM login test, our first test. Now So I will write. So is it visible to all? So up to that, this is what before, and then after that I will write here public void tear down method. Okay, public void tear down method. So it has to execute after test. It has to execute after test. Once your test will get executed, this is like once your test will like fail or pass, not an issue. It will execute, and I'm going to use here. I'm going to close the browser. So actually driver is not visible here. So we'll create this driver at class level so that we can able to use that driver throughout the class. Okay. Now driver dot just use quit method to close the browser. So we'll close the browser by using before method. It will start. By using after method, it will close the browser. Now, so let's find that web element. I will say driver dot for username field find element by using name only we will find here name by dot name, whatever name will be there. First of all, we are going to clear the field. Okay, for before going to type username, within the username field we will clear that username field, and then we will type whatever username you are going to pass. Okay, so by using here just use chain keys method for typing operation. So what is the inputs we are going to pass? That input we will provide here. Okay. Similarly, for password field, we will use before going to perform type operation. So before going to use type operation, we will clear the field and then we will perform type operation. So what is the username we are going to pass? This username we will get from Excel sheet. Simply pass this username, and this password also we will get from Excel sheet. We'll pass this password. Okay. And then let's see. Go to the application. This is the application, and we'll find the web element. So on this application, we'll find the web element. So I will click on F12 to get the inspector on the web element. Click on this inspector. Once you click on this inspector, you can able to inspect the web element. Like I will inspect the username field, whose name is equals to txt username. Just copy this, come here and just paste here txt username, clear the field txt username, enter the password. For password field, so for password field you see inspect, click on this. This is my password field. Okay, so for the password field name is what? txt password. Copy this, come here, so txt password and then txt password. Then after that we are going to click on login button. So for login button, what is the name? The name is what? Submit. For login, the name is what? Submit, and class is equals to button, id is equals to button login. We will use id. By using id we will perform click operation. So here we are not going to perform any input, so no need to clear the field. Okay, driver find element. By using id we will find that web element. What is the id? Here it is the id, and just perform which operation? Click operation. So this is our test data like for login. And once we logged in into the application, what we will do? We will log out from the application. So let's suppose with valid username, if you perform the login, you will be okay. Once you perform the login, you will be on this page. So we will check once you logged in into the application. Okay, I don't want to change the password. Okay, if you logged in into the application, so simply, so we'll say this username is displayed or not. Okay, this username is displayed or not. Or I will inspect this. Actually, when you user with the admin credential, you should have to log in. You have to see this. So we will log out from the application where id is equals to welcome. Where id is equals to welcome, by using id we will log out from this application. Okay, so once you click on this id welcome, you will get a logout. So by using this, let me create a one based on id. Okay, so but before going to, once you logged in into the application, you should have to do one thing, or let it be. So for every test I will say before and after method. Before method, for every test we will start the application and we'll close the application. Before and after method, how to use like how before method and after method will get executed. For every test case it will start and it will perform close operation. Okay, so before test and after test I will cover in next when we implement the test case. Okay, so you see, once you logged in, if you logged in successfully, still it will close the browser. If you don't logged in successfully, we are not doing any validation here. Okay, we are able to log in into the application or not. Okay, but if you want to do validation, just see, I will say this orange HRM, or this admin. You can able to see here admin, or you can see the title is same, you for login, and here also. So if you see, once you logged in into the application, if you can able to see this admin, if you can able to display this menu admin or this web element. Okay, so how to write XPath for this? You know, just use Control F. So this is a any tag. Let's suppose any tag. Star means what? Any tag. Yes. So for this web element we will search. If that web element is displayed, then you done login successfully. So you know, for that, what is the text of that web element? Admin. Text is equals to admin. You see, it's highlighting. If this web element is displayed, you mean you logged in into the application successfully. So what we will do, once you logged in into the application, we'll check. Okay, we'll see. So for that web element, we will search driver dot find element by dot XPath. We are searching XPath. What is the web element? This is the web element. So if it is displayed, driver dot find element by dot XPath, if is displayed, simply if that web element is displayed, you will return true. If the condition true, you mean you logged in into the application successfully. Simply I will say sysout. Okay, logged in application success. Login application success. So if you couldn't able to log in into the application, okay, so I will say else if, so logged in application successfully, and I will say assert true. I will use assert true condition. So means I will pass this test case. Okay, assert true. Assertion is what? Passed. If else if you not logged in into application successfully. Okay, if you not logged in into the application successfully, so what we will do on this login page, you see, you can able to see login panel. Okay, so on this login panel, you can see login panel text. So within this page source, I will get the page source. If that page source contain login panel, you mean you are on the same page. Actually, we can't go for title, this title and login page title also, both are same. But this here you can see login panel. So for that, what I will do, else if, okay, so I will say driver dot get page source. So whatever that page source dot contains, I will use whatever page source I will get. If that page source contains, what it will contain? Login panel. If that page source contain login panel, it means you are still on login page. Okay, so if that page source contains login panel, if it contains login panel, it will return you true. If it is not contain login panel, it will return you false. It means you are still on which page? You are still on logged in page. You mean logged in failed, and you are on same page. You are on same login page. It means login failed and you are on same login page. So if you couldn't able to log in into the application, simply what we will do, assert true is equals to, I will say false. Actually, this test case got failing. So I did validation also. Okay. You know, when you logged in into the application, you can perform logged out from the application, and else like before and after method also. Instead of before and after method, you can take before and after test also. If you want to execute your whole test cases on same browser, if you don't want to execute all your whole test, every time you want to execute your test cases on latest browser, then use before method and after method. This before method and after method. So we will prepare this before method and after method. Let it be. So this is the like small framework I have implemented. So like data driven test I have implemented here, not a framework. To implement a framework, we will require lots of components. So for this data driven test, we just use this application. Am I clear up to that? Any doubt? So let me save this file and we'll close this file. Okay. This is under sheet 3. I will close this. So is there any doubt up to that? Can you please confirm in text box, in chat box? So okay. So this is my data driven test. Let me start execute this test case and we'll check the behavior of the application. Run as testng test. The number of row will be there, that number of times. So how many number of row we are going to execute, that number of times your test case will get executed. Let's see it will work fine or not for us. If you are getting any issue or any error, we will resolve that issue also. Most of the time you will get, most of the issue you will get, but still for us we will get or not. So it's saying java.lang.array index out of bound exception. When you will get this exception, java.lang.array index out of bound exception 4. Whenever you are trying to find, okay, whenever you are, this is your array, this is your array. Whenever you are trying to retrieve the data out of the index, let's suppose here we don't have any index, but if you try to retrieve the data at this index, if this index is not there, then you will get array index out of bound exception. It means whenever you are getting array index out of bound exception, just go to the Excel sheet like 2D array where you prepare, you know. So how many number of rows are there? Up to that rows we are going. Number of rows are there. So let's see, less than or equal to that row we will start and execute. So when we will start at index 1, less than or equals to that number of rows. So don't go or equals to, okay. Actually number of rows are there. It will start from index 0. But we are starting from index 1. Now you see your browser started successfully and you are not getting any array index out of bound exception. It will launch the browser and this is the browser got launched automatic by using automation test. And whatever test data we had prepared for those test data, it will execute. So I don't know why it is closed. Let's check for second test. It will launch for second test. We'll check why it is closed every time, like whatever it would be. If you're getting say like anything, so this is for first set of data admin. It's like executed. It's logged in with successfully. So once you logged in successfully, you can log out from the application. So you see the message you are getting, logged in application successful. Now it started for second set of data. So every time it's closing the browser also. Okay. We are using before and after method. That's what every time it's closing the browser. So this is invalid test data. Admin is not a password, correct password, but still it is recognizing that small a. So what is username? Capital A is there and then admin. But we are passing small a as a admin. Okay. But still it is recognizing that is a valid username. But this time it should have to like this application is what just for practice purpose we are using this credential. Actually for those credentials it should not logged in into the application. So here username we are passed invalid username. That's what we couldn't able to log in into the application. And we are searching for that web element and close the browser. And you see, actually when we run the first time, it's taking a null data. And it's taking last time it's taking illegal argument. Actually, let it be. So when you see whenever you are executing this SCS, at first time when your first test got executed, it's taking null value. That's what it couldn't able to pass. The second time admin 123, admin 123, and then admin and then password like this. For this username, it's not logged in into the application. It's saying no such element exception, unable to locate element method XPath. Actually that element, whatever we are going to take, x is equals to admin, this web element we couldn't able to find. If we couldn't able to find, actually it has to return you like that web element is not displayed. It has to return you. If that web element is not displayed, it's like a no such element exception on that page. We are getting no such element. So actually we should have to go for other web element like title or like something. If that title is displayed, it will return you true. If that title or logo is displayed, it will return you true. If that logo is not displayed, it will return you false. So simply we are returning for this XPath, it will try to find that XPath. If you couldn't able to log in, it will try to find this XPath. It is not, you couldn't able to find this XPath. If you couldn't able to find this XPath, it means it's not go to the is displayed or not. It will not check. Simply it will say like throws you no such element exception. Okay, simply it will throws you no such element exception. You can validate like this also. Whenever you will get a no such element exception, you mean for this web element, whenever this web element not able to visible or is throwing a one exception, no such element exception, you mean that web element is not displayed. Okay, you can validate like that. Like that we can able to perform the login test. So simply what I will do is, let me pause. So we will use before test and after test. The moment you will use before test and after test, it will use same browser. So for same browser, it will pass the set of data, you see, and it will not close the browser every time. Once all the test cases will get executed, then only it will close the browser. You see, browser got started for first set of data. This is just warning. So this is the browser got started, launching the browser. So admin, clicked on logged in. Actually, we are not performing logout. That's what we will get a here no such element like element exception. Actually, so once you logged in into the application, we should have to log out. Okay, click on this and then click on logout. Then only that web element will be displayed. Yes or no? Then only this element will be displayed and again it will perform login into the application. Clear the input text box and it will perform logged in into the application like that. So for that, let it be. Let's see, execute these test cases. So if say login successfully for first set of data and other, it will fail. So whenever you logged in into the application, you should have to log out. You should have to write 2 line of code again. What are the 2 line of code you have to write? So come here. I will go here. Okay, driver dot find element by dot id. So that id welcome is id dot is, I will say, is displayed. If it is displayed, it will return you true. Is displayed, it will return you true. On that id, we will perform click operation and then we will perform logout operation. So it means login successfully. Okay, driver dot find element. So perform click operation. Once you perform click operation, you see on that web element I will show you. So this is the page. Just navigate. Please go on mute. Who is this person? So we are not handling any exception. This print stack trace is a like totally stack trace. So this will help us to handle, like we are interacting with the file, and it will handle file not found exception, or for any input output exception it will handle. So if the file is not there, it will throw you file not found exception, and complete stack trace it will, like from where it will coming, complete stack trace it will display. So in exception chapter, I'm going to explain this, all these things. No worry. As of now, you just like by using try catch, we are handling the exception. As of now, you just like try to understand. This is the try catch block, which will help us to handle the exception. So let me log in. Once you logged in, so this is the inspect this web element. Welcome. It's saying change the password. So what is the ID of this web element? If you click on this, and if you click on this, ID of this web element is what? Welcome. Simply copy this, come here, and just update that web element. If it is displayed, it will return you true, and then perform click on that welcome. Okay. So if you can able to see this, just perform this click on, and then inspect this logout. We want to log out from the application. This is the anchor tag. Text is equals to logout. So we have a anchor tag. We will write the XPath whose text is equals to logout. It's highlighting that logout. Copy this XPath, and to perform logout, just write down here driver dot find element. By using XPath, we are finding what is the XPath. This is the XPath. Then perform click. So whenever you couldn't able to log in into the application, simply here you will get a no such element exception, and you couldn't able to log in into the application. This line of code we don't need to write. Okay, whenever you will get a no such element of exception, so you just try to understand. So you couldn't able to logged in into the application. So you can write this code into try catch also. Okay, so simply how, so whenever you will get no such element, let it be. I don't want to write this try catch once again. So let me try to run this. As of now, we'll understand whenever we'll get no such element exception, it means we couldn't able to log in into the application. Once you logged in, this web element will be displayed, and let's see it will perform logout or not. It's performing the logout. Again, it's performing the second set of data. Login into the application. Again, log out from the application. Again, log out. And this is invalid credential. You mean you couldn't able to log in, and you will get no such element exception definitely. And at last it will try to like 2 time logged in successfully and 1 time failed. How many test cases we executed? You see, this is first set of data. I don't know why it is taking that, but we'll check later on. And but for fourth set of data, you see, admin, this is valid, invalid credential. For this invalid credential, we couldn't able to log in into the application. And this is for illegal argument exception. Keys, what I say, keys to same should be not null character sequence. Actually, for this set of data, for first time, it is taking null set of data. I will check. Okay. So I did one change only in Excel test data. Actually, both are same. This approach and this approach both are same. But I don't know why it is getting. But you see, we are getting the row and we are focusing on that. And for every set of data, it's running the test case. Our test case got running and it's passing that data. And why it is failing? So for that test data, you can able to recognize. For that, like for first set of data, what is the set of data you are passing to your test? What is the second set of data? What is the third set of data? For every set of data, you can able to recognize here. Like when you check the results in TestNG, you will get to know that what is the test data you are passing and why your test case got failed. So what is the test data you are retrieving from the Excel sheet? This is first valid set of data for valid test case. Actually, second is also invalid, but that invalid credential also it can able to log in into the application. So username, for username admin, A is capital, but we are not passing A as a capital. This is third set of data, invalid data. So you see, you are getting one message also, invalid credential. Here also, you will get a message, invalid credential, once you logged in, perform login. And finally, it will close the browser. Okay. And if you go to here, result, you see, this is your first set of data, this is second set of data, third set of data, fourth set of data. And if you go to the your Excel sheet also, the same set of data you will get to know what you are retrieving from first index of the row, not 0th index. We are retrieving the data from first index. You see? Observe carefully. Or not, I will close this window. You see? First set of data, admin, admin 123, admin, admin 123. Second set of data, admin, admin 123, admin, admin 1. Then third, like that. This is our third set of data. So admin, admin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, admin, admin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all the set of data, it's retrieving how many number of rows you are executing. That number of times your test case will get executed. This is your data-driven testing. How we are going to get the data from Excel sheet and how we are going to feed that data to the application. So I hope I'm clear with this. Okay. So I'm closing this. Okay.